We're talking about the Leger. You see my Leger caps there. Right. What was what? 96 first one. 96. 95, sorry. 95, 96. 2005, 2006, 2008, and 2019. I think they all stand out. You know, I'll never forget my first one, and I don't forget my last one.
And now they're lined up and ready to race then, and away they go for the 2019 William Hill St Leger.
Well, it's the oldest classic. Don't tell me when it started. You need to have definitely speed and stamina. You know, you got to have everything. That's 95.
Classic Cliche edges forward.
Classic Cliche was my. I was 997 at the beginning of the day. I managed to have a double early doors, and Classic Cliche was my 1,000 winner. So it was my first Leger and my 1,000 winner, so it was pretty special.
Down the stretch they come with just over half a mile to go in the Betfred St Leger, and it's Frankie Dettori who's cruised through now on Classic Cliche up on the outside of Jural.
I was pretty confident. I knew you stay really well, and I kicked him quite early in the straight, and I never saw another horse. It went really well.
But racing up towards the line, here's win number 1,000 in Britain for Frankie Dettori. The Leger goes to Classic Cliche.
Chanteau, here you go, 2096. Chanteau, well, to me it was important because obviously I started working for John, and we had tremendous success. You orchestrated my winning the championship that year, and it felt to me like paying him back for his faith that he had in me. It was his first classic win, so he had a bit of good feelings about it. You know, it was very emotional actually. I mean, John trained him on his own basically. It was character or difficult way, but he had plenty of ability, and he was tenacious that day.
Here comes Frankie on the outside on Chanteau.
And we had the right ding dong, me and Pat, and he was third in the Derby as well, so he was no slouch, and yeah, we just got up on the line. It was great.
Deschian to the far side, Chanteau the near side. It's a bobbing finish. 25 yards to go. Chanteau lands the Leger.
Scorpion, 2005.
And immediately the favourite Scorpion is sent to the lead under Frankie Dettori.
Scorpion, basically they were looking for a jockey, Coolmore, so I made myself available. I think it was a hot favourite. Won the Grand Prix de Paris. He was a good horse on his own right, and we had a lot of rain that day, as far as I remember, and I think the race went quite smoothly.
The leader is Scorpion. He just quickened a shade there as he came down the hill.
It was good for me because not just riding for Godolphin, but riding for other teams like Coolmore and winning a classic was great. It was good for my CV.
Scorpion is out in front. He's finding more for Frankie Dettori. Scorpion has made every yard, and Scorpion wins the Leger.
2006. York was a York, yes. I was in two minds to ride Red Rocks or 60s Icon. They're both very good horses, and Jeremy persuaded me to ride 60s Icon. Obviously, I'm friends with the Paul Renham of Red Rocks and Paul Roy of 60s Icon, and I travelled like a good thing. I was always on the bridle, and kicked in 2 out, and it won very easily. I remember my wife and 2 kids were there, so it was a pretty good day.
60s Icon getting closer, and the favourites pulling double for Frankie.
The problem is, when you're riding a Leger, and you sometimes you are travelling well, but then the stamina's got to keep going, and sometimes you press the button and nothing is there. So it's always that moment of suspense that you think, come on, let's go, and when they do go, then job done. But sometimes they don't go.
60s Icon, a 21st century St Leger hero, and Frankie wins the Leger.
2008 Conduit. Again, this was quite funny because Ryan, first jockey for Stout, he opted for the Abdullah horse, and I rode Conduit, and I was talking I was jokingly with Sir Michael Stout, and I said, well, so you had Lester Piggott, you got Sugar Beat, you had Swinburne, you had Kieran Fallon, you had everyone riding for you, nobody is ever won it for you, so now you have to rely on me to try to win it, and surely he bolted up as well. So he was, that was the full set for Sir Michael, so it was good for him, and yeah, it was a great spare ride for me.
It's Conduit and Frankie Dettori who go to the front in the Leger.
You know, when such a great trainer has won everything, and he happened to me, winning the Derby for 15 years, so it must have been very fulfilling for him to have the full set of classics.
It's Conduit for Frankie Dettori, and Sir Michael Stout's St Leger Hoodoo is about to be put to bed because Conduit is striding away. Frankie Dettori's 5th Leger and Sir Michael Stout's 1st.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because he went through the handicaps ranks to all the way up, and then he won really well in the voltage, and I was pretty confident that he will take a good one to beat. Beautiful white horse, stands out, big unit, very strong. It travelled strongly, actually was pulling a bit, and basically halfway through in the straight, I was looking around for dangers, and I asked him to quicken the roar of the crowd, and off he went.
Frankie just squeezing a touch on Logician, and then on the inside, Sir Dragonet creeping closer all the time.
Cornwall had a fancied one, and I think Danica rode it, and I was keeping an eye on Danica, and we kind of both went together, but Logician should much better turn the foot, and that's it. I was able to enjoy the last furlong with the roar of the crowd.
But it's Logician who's in front as they approach the final furlong, and he's got there with a sparkling turn of foot.
I must say, in all the 6 Legers that I won, probably Chantou is the only one that I had to fight. All the others, they won easy, so I was very lucky with the department.
5 out of 5, and a 5th St Leger for John Colston. A 6th for Frankie Dettori. Logician wins it from Sir Ron Priestley in 2nd.